Hello and good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to Straight Talk. Today is Tubonge Thursday, and that's the hashtag. I'm your host, Salma Murakaru. And yes, we are also live in Korogocho with Steve Zusa, who will be joining us later. So today we're talking about online discussion on youth and contraceptives. And we want to hear your views. So please share this live. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, and we will have panelists. You won't believe it. They will be talking to us about contraceptions. They will be talking to us about what they do. And we hope this show is going to be educative and free for information for all of you. So karibuni sana to all who are watching. Remember, sharing is caring the live. And the hashtag again is Tubonge Thursday. Yes. So I'm your host again, Salma Murakaru, and today we have some panelists that I want to invite to join us for the live so that we can have this discussion and be able to share out ideas. So I'm going to start. Hi, guys. I hope we're clear and you can hear me. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Where there high Wi-Fi? There high Wi-Fi.
Hi.
Hi, karibuni sana, and I will start with the gentleman. Karibu sana, and please just let us know a little bit about yourself as we continue. Karibu tena.
Thank you for having me. My name is Andy Awiti. I am with Form Migani, where we have helped create a platform for young Kenyans to explore and discuss new ways, the critical issues and decisions around contraception and the future of Kenya can be tackled. This is largely through scenarios, building and creating a voice for young Kenyans to basically talk about the contraception issue. Thank you.
Karibu sana again, and then I will go down to Andy, the lady, the beautiful lady who's just under you. It looks funny, you know, like under.
For lack of a better term,
You know. Please, yes, please introduce yourself. You know, you have to be at least funny kidogo, you know.
Okay. My name is Daisy Adala. I work with Marisops Kenya, and I have a wide knowledge in terms of reproductive health and contraceptives, and I'm glad to be on this show. You can ask as many questions as you can, and I should be able to try to answer them. Thank you.
Asante sana. Karibu sana. And then we have another guest. Kindly, last but not least, wanasemanga huyo anakuja na fire. The last one. So introduce yourself kabisa. Madam Rembo. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi. My name is Abby Chebet. I'm the youth governor for Bomet County and the founder of the Ladies Heart Foundation. Yes.
Hey, karibu sana. Tuko na mpaka governor in the building. Karibu. And young Kwanza, you're representing. So I will just have, we'll have a small interview with our young people just telling us a bit more about contraceptions. Then we get back to the live. Let's hear their views as they tell us more about contraceptions.
Hi everyone, I'm Abdallah Shuaib. Hii COVID-19 because problems mob sababu most of youth friendly centers zimefungwa na mayouth tunajua kwamba wanapenda ku access services kupitia hizo youth friendly centers kama kupata condoms na contraceptives because problems mob sababu most of youth friendly centers zimefungwa na mayouth tunajua kwamba wanapenda ku access services kupitia hizo youth friendly centers kama kupata condoms na contraceptives.
Hello, my name is Lisa Marianne, a youth advocate on sexual and reproductive health rights of young people and adolescents in Nairobi and Kiambu. I am also the founder of a community-based organization called Mothers and Daughters Care Initiative, where we advocate for the rights of young people in the informal settlements of Nairobi and Kiambu. With COVID-19 and the lockdown, the pandemic really doesn't stop sexual engagement. In fact, right now, sexual engagement is more as compared to before, especially because most people are at home, and those who are still working, they are always home on a timely manner. So you will find that sexual engagement is high. And with this, the demand for youth-friendly facilities, the demand for sexual and reproductive healthcare commodities. By commodities, I mean contraceptives such as pills, such as IUD, and even condoms, among other non-contraceptives. The demand is high, but unfortunately, right now, the accessing these services is a problem. It's a challenge because most youth-friendly facilities are not running, and those which are running, the private ones, you might find that the cost factor is unfriendly to women and young people, and also it's also unfriendly for adolescents who are sexually active to access, which is really a challenge. And when you go to the public facilities, the youth-friendly facilities are not functioning, and service providers at the public facilities are not prioritizing the need for this. In fact, they will turn you off, which is really unfortunate. And on this issue, my call to action would be that the Ministry of Health makes access to sexual and reproductive healthcare services, facilities, commodities, and information essential and a priority in all health facilities, whether private or government, and also affordable for people to be able to access during this period, so that we can be able to reduce the risk of unintended pregnancies and also unsafe abortions.
Yes, we've just heard from our youth talking about contraceptives. But before we get in depth in what we mean when we talk about contraceptives and what they are and how they are important during this COVID pandemic, I would like to ask Andy, Daisy, and Abby to just tell me a bit about the organizations they're representing and what they do for the young people. So I'll start with you, Andy, and then Daisy, and then Abby. Remember, the hashtag is Tubonge Thursdays. So, Andy.
Okay, so about Fomnigani. Fomnigani started as a platform that allows young Kenyans aged 18 to 35 to discuss issues surrounding contraception. Now, as the platform has evolved, we have been able to take in the views of young Kenyans, understand the issues that they face with regards to access to contraception. And what we have done is we have worked as much as we can to channel that youth voice towards a shift in policy change. So we also have a number of advocacy groups that we are working with. There's UNFPA, there's E4A, there's GPIGO, who are now the ones who are engaging with the policymakers at that higher level.
Okay, thank you for that. I can see in Kangemi we are live. And also, I would also like to point out another question, which I'll be bringing back later. But I can see we're live in Kangemi with Steven. So I hope he will be joining us later to also talk.
Mina feelingi ile part.
But we're live. Okay.
Akiamka, then after ameamka hivyo na feel nikienda pale hivyo group niko na kale ka uoga, huyu msee akiniona atafilaje. Then niko nile situation nikiona msee alafu amenikosea maybe juzi ama jana yake, nitafeel sasa nikimwongelesha sasa ni snob, ani mischief, afanye everything bila anafanya. So unajua sometimes you feel shy na kuanga shyness, but si shy ile nye shyness yenye unaweza sema kwa msee aizi ongea kwa crowd, yani ile shy ya kupoteza yani kale ka.
Yeah, we'll be back with this bit of technical problems, but I'll be back with my sorry about that. I'll be backed up by my panelists again to just discuss on them introducing themselves. Andy was talking about forming Nigani initiative. Now we'll go to Daisy. Daisy, kindly talk to us about Mary Stops Kenya and what you do for the young people, so that actually for Kenya, what is Mary Stops, so that people understand more about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And Mary Stops Kenya is a provider of sexual and reproductive health services in Kenya. We offer different kinds of services. I'll try to be as simple as possible. So we offer different kinds of services that are reproductive health. We have clinics, which we call centers, Mary Stops centers in all the major towns across the country. We have 21 of them. We have what we call outreach teams. Outreach is where we have a mobile clinic that comes to nearer where you are within the slums and every other area. So outreach teams, which are about 13, and we visit about 600 facilities around the country. We have what we call our Amua channel, Amua brand, where Amua is something we call social franchise, where we have trained private practitioners. These are doctors and nurses around the whole country. We have about 500 doctors and nurses who work under Mary Stops branch, and they have our brand. We have trained them to offer reproductive health services. We also have a contact center, which can be used to access us. And if you need to access any services, you can talk through the contact center. We also partner with government, where we work with the government and train the government providers in providing also these reproductive health services. Now, what are these reproductive health services? We are looking at contraception, or what is common as family planning. We have maternal and child health care services. Maternal and child health care services is that when mothers are sick, you're having things like you need to come for antenatal care and stuff like that. We are able to offer this. We also offer immunization services, meaning we also cover that. Also, when you're sick, we actually treat you. So we are a hospital, unlike what very many people think. We are a hospital, and we offer these services. We do HIV testing, STI screening. We also check women. We call it women wellness clinic. Women wellness clinic. Say, are you fit? Are you good? Are you fertile? Are you ready to give birth? We check you to see that you are good. Now we also have with adolescents or youth, so to speak. And here we engage a lot with youth at community level. Community level is where we come in, talk through our community health volunteer, tell them about which services, we make them even aware of their rights. We tell about so many things in terms of adolescence. And you remember there's a lot of myths, misconceptions about an adolescent, and an adolescent also needs a forum to hear. The youth need a forum to be explained to these things. So it's what Mary Stops Kenya does. We have been in the country for about 36 years, and we are here to stay. So basically, that is generally what Mary Stops Kenya does. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you for that. You know, there have been very different taboos about Mary Stops Kenya, but we'll get back to that.
We'll get there. We'll
get there for sure. And we have Abby, and then we'll be joined by, because I know we have some youths that are live, young people that are live, and we want to hear what they have to say, and if they have questions for us, so that they can pose them, so that we get into the conversation, because contraception is something people don't like talking about it. It's a taboo. People don't like, they assume, even parents don't talk to their children about it. So we are live in Kangemi, if I'm not wrong. Remember, the hashtag is Tubonge Thursday, and let's just hear what young people have to say. Tusikie maneno venye iko. I think we have a hitch.
The mental,
But
yeah, the mentally. Okay, I was asking if someone wazazi wamedai, that mentorship yenye msee anaweza ambiwa, like anaweza kalishwa chini apewe a mentor
I think
swali mob, or what we like.
I think we have a tech hitch, but back to the panelist. I think I get the question, and I'll pose it to Andy, and I'll also pose it to Daisy. I believe she was talking about mentorship when parents are not there. Let's say parents have died and she needs guidance, maybe when she's on her young adolescent stage, and you know that's where we have body changes, and maybe you don't have someone to talk to. So how would you advise this young person who's coming from the ghetto, one thing, and there are so many challenges, and we hear that cases of teen pregnancies is on the rise. So how would you advise this person, or who is the next of kin? How would you identify this crisis and deal with it and find a solution? I'll start with Andy and then go back to Daisy.
My first thought, of course, not having quite the experience in handling such kind of an issue, identify community groups that can support young girls at the various stages of their lives. The good thing about our societies in Kenya is that we have such platforms within the communities that we stay in that we can tap into to at least get some sort of the guidance with regards to the various aspects of life that we may be experiencing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sawa, Andy. Thank you for that. And also, we'll get back to Abby Chebet to also talk to us about the Ladies' Heart Foundation. But before that, Daisy, you mentioned about you have services that you provide. And is Maristops, because it's an organization that has been there for 36 years, if I'm not wrong, from what I got from you, and it should be accessible in different places. And you said also that you work with the government, right? So how do we reach to these young people during COVID time who need access to services? Let's just talk about young adolescents, talking about access to services, not just contraception, but before they even get to contraception, the advice, the guide.
Okay. For Marisops, what we are doing currently is that we have an established contact center. So on the contact center, we have you can make a phone call to the contact center, and when you get to the contact center, there's a toll-free number that I provide that where we can give further advice in terms of all these questions that are being asked, especially by the youth and the adolescents. So you can get us through our contact center. Uko mashinani or uko kwa ground, we have community health volunteer systems. We have community volunteers who have already accessed training in terms of reproductive health or how to support answering of questions, and we also meet with the chief barazas in such kind of things. But in times of COVID, of course, because one-on-one, it would be easier to get either in touch with the community health volunteer that is in your nearest facility, or just contact us through the contact center, and then we will be able to give advice and even refer you to even a healthcare provider who is aware and who is youth friendly and can answer some of the questions questions if you're not satisfied by the contact center. If you're unwell regarding anything in terms of your reproductive health, we'll always refer you to these facilities. So because we have a contact center which is central and it has very many contact center agents, we should be able to call you back and or will be able to answer your questions and refer you to the nearest facility, or will inform you when our mobile outreach team is coming to an area that is near you.
Near you.
So how we work. Yes.
Asante sana. I'm also joined by Sylvia Bulali and Abby Chebet. So I want to get back into the introduction because I don't want to miss out on anyone. It's all about inclusion, peer co-panelists, you know. So Abby, kindly tell us more about the Heart Foundation, the Lady Heart Foundation. And thank you for that, Andy. But I'll get back to you because I have a lot of questions for you today.
Okay.
And thank you, Sylvia. So do we have Abby today with us for the panelists? Abby and Sylvia? Okay, so I'll get back to them later. Anyway, Andy.
Yes.
In your line of work, how has COVID-19 affected access to contraception, services, initiatives, follow-ups on how you do it on the ground? How has it affected?
Okay. The primary entry point for us is that we mainly seek to create a platform for these issues to be addressed, because Kenya as a country, we have relegated the conversation on sexual and reproductive health care to a taboo. What it has done is that it has exposed the many underlying issues that we have as a country from a perspective of SRH. We have seen closures of access points. There are issues of shortages in supply, as some of the guys on the ground have already spoken about. We have seen disruptions in services. In some areas, community outreach workers have been barred from, effecting their work. So, and then there's also the issue of young Kenyans unable to buy the methods that they use because, of course, they have had some of their income affected in a particular way. So for us, what we have done is to highlight this issue from a perspective of what it means to Kenya now and beyond the pandemic. In our report, we have explored scenarios of what happens based on the decisions we make with regards to contraception at this time. We have three scenarios that we looked at. One is a worst case scenario where, of course, we keep doing things as we are doing them, and the ramifications are worse long term. Another scenario is where we take action right now to ensure that contraception is an issue that is prioritized, whether or not there is a pandemic, because we have to accept young Kenyans are still engaging in sex right now. It's not like it has stopped.
Yes. True.
Yeah, so what we have done is shift the conversation on contraception to have it regarded as an essential service, as opposed to one that can be ignored at a time like this, because we have seen that at times like this, administrations have the leeway to decide that we don't really require X, Y, and Z. For example, you can see that we have decided that we can't open doors. We have decided that we cannot be out at particular times. But that will not be the same way that we approach an issue such as contraception. So the pandemic itself forced us to rethink how we address this particular issue.
Thank you so much for that, Andy. A bit of disruptions, kidogo, but it's for positivity. Thank you for coming back. I was looking for you, Abby. I was looking for you. I just want you to introduce yourself and tell us more about the Lady Hearts Foundation, and then we'll go back to Kangemi. There are youths that are talking there, and we need to hear them out because they have questions for us. So, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, they said my name is Abby Chebet,
Sorry.
the founder of the Ladies Heart Foundation. It's a student-led foundation. I study at Multimedia University. I'm a third year studying BCom and CPA. The Ladies Heart Foundation is based on UN SDGs, Quality Education number 4, where we conduct mentorship sessions in rural parts of Kenya. And then number 6 of sanitation, where we majorly deal with menstrual hygiene with an aim of reducing teenage pregnancy cases in the rural areas. Our organization is a club in 6 universities, Kenyan universities, so it creates a platform for university students to be able to reach out to their communities, transform them, get to those young girls, mobilize for sanitary towels, and also be able to create conversations that are going to bring possible solutions to end teenage pregnancy in Kenya. I am the Zuri Awards 2020 Young Achievers Honoree.
Wow.
And 2019
Congratulations.
MPHSD Ambassador of the Year, WHDO Awards. Yes, that's
Nice.
basically what we do.
Congratulations for that. Karibu sana. And
you.
now we are going back live to Kangemi, and then I'll get back to you, Abby. So we're live in Kangemi. So I see we have msanii there. So hebu atuongeleshe na tupatie maswali kadhaa ambazo tunaweza uliza our panelists so that they can give us their views, and also like why are we having so much where is there a rise in teenage pregnancy? We need to understand what is happening. So back to you guys in Kangemi. Let us know how the session is and let's hear your views. Karibu sana. Kolo.
Asante sana. Mambo vipi?
Poa sana.
Unanisikia?
Kabisa, tunakusikia, tuko live.
Maze tumekama hapa, tumeform groups, tuko na youth man, tuna have a great time, great conversations, and I thank God for this opportunity that especially in this season that we are in, we are able to keep the conversations going, and especially around mental wellness, mental health. And kwa hii group yangu pali nimepostiwa na watu wangu wa nguvu. Hebu kwanza kamera tu ile around isalimiwa say. So venye kamera imeenda nimekushow niko na group ya wase wa nguvu sana, tuna discuss about wellness, na probably naweza penda ask the same question that I asked, because umjamali kama kanyuliza hebu tu emphasize wellness ni nini. So mimi nakakuuliza panelists wenye wako hapo sasa hivi, what is the last line of the first stanza of our national anthem? That's the first question. Either in fact in Swahili and in English, then we keep the conversation going. Yes. Okay. What is the last line of the first stanza of our national anthem?
Last line of the first stanza of our national anthem?
Yes.
I got that. So our panelists, I hope you're ready to answer that. Guys, you're looking like you're guessing. Hey.
First
so
stanza.
Yes.
Sorry. Plenty before.
And we need to hear those voices tuone kama mnaimbanga. Maliza kutoa tuma.
At the last line of the
first.
Yes.
Plenty
Kola burudia
before
swali tena. Burudia swali tena asikie msanii.
What is the last line of the first stanza of Kenya's national anthem?
Yes, you got that. So I want to hear from you. Kwanza Daisy alafu Andy hapo utuimbie. Daisy nataka uirap alafu Andy utuimbie. Aki, you guys, I hope you're not googling.
No, sino nakusho hapa ilikuwa situation ka hiyo hapa nakusho the country needs a lot of healing and it starts with music. It starts with music, and the only first song that unites us is that national anthem. If you're able to decode its meaning, it's a prayer, man. It will give you a good direction to have this conversation of wellness. So my question again, what is the last line of the first stanza of our national
Umewapatia time ya
in English?
kugoogle, lakini wacha watuambie.
Paka bundles zimeshanga.
Andy, najua umegoogle. Can you tell us? Andy, you look so ready. Ebu do this for us. Kwanza you're singing it. Imagine.
I used to be a scout, so I actually know it.
Hapo sawa, Andy. Maze tunapigia Andy makofi kwanza. Hapo sawa. Thank you, Andy. Plenty be found
Andy,
within our
nakununulia
borders.
lollipop your story.
Maze, alafu sasa nakakuja kutoka my sisters. What is the same in English? Because in Swahili, because that there in Swahili will give us a good direction to keep this conversation going. So what is the same in Swahili?
Swahili ngumu sana hata zaidi. Swahili sio mdomo yangu.
This is funny.
Watu mteja.
Mteja mbaya. Ama you want us to sing it the whole so that you get it?
No, I just want that one. Gugu yetu ilete
baraka kwetu.
Pam 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 pam.
Akiwe ngao na mlinzi. Na tukae nao.
Amani nao.
Raha tupate na ustawi.
Hapo sawa, raha tupate na ustawi.
Ustawi.
Kwa hivyo question is, ustawi inamaanisha nini?
Stability.
I like that answer. I'll take that answer. However, I'm looking for the definition, the exact definition. I like the meaning of stability around ustawi because there's an element of stability in the meaning. However, what's the definition?
Is it along the lines of growth?
Yes,
and
it's
development?
yes.
That's what I'm going with, growth and development.
What's the Swahili ukitafsiri neno ustawi kwa kizungu inamaanisha nini?
Flourish.
It's the topic that we're talking about, guys. Wellness. Yes.
Wellness.
Wellness.
Exactly.
Yes.
Everything that is good. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I was sharing with the team here in Kangemi that the people who composed this national anthem, they gave us direction. It's a prayer, right? And
yes.
When you try and look for the answers far away instead of starting right here at home, then you miss you stand the chance of missing the point. And even in a conversation that I was having with the entire team earlier on, is that it's high time we start celebrating our heritage as a cultural and creative industry, and also especially in the sector of music. Let's use what God has given us to find out who we are, what our purpose is as a nation. I was sharing with them that the prophetic purpose of Kenya is being a springboard of revival. That simply means that we are a hope nation. And so if you've never gotten to understand what your purpose is as an individual, you can always look at the purpose of the nation and align yourself towards discovering a new you. So in that line, wellness, raha tupate na ustawi. Raha tupate na nini? Na ustawi. And the direct translation of that is plenty be found within our borders.
Our
So there's
borders.
no way you can find the plenty if you're not well. Have you gotten that revelation?
Yes.
Sindio. So the only way we can enjoy the
Yeah.
plenty, and remember that Kenya has provided a market for foreigners. Think of Congolese. The music in Congo became big because Kenyans gave it a market. Nigeria became big because South Africans wouldn't have bought Nigerian music. They have their own culture that they celebrate. We've even celebrated the American pop culture. How about we celebrate our own narrative? And today we are here talking about wellness, and wellness is right in the middle of our national anthem. How about that?
Thank you so much, Kolo, for that. We're also talking about contraception today, and it's a really, really key important thing for young people. And in talking about mental health and wellness, what would you say when it comes to contraceptives? Are we, and I know you're also a parent, are we talking to our young people
Apparently.
about this? Yes. Are we talking to our young people about this? And are we taking it serious? Because now we have COVID. So many people are going through challenges. I'm also experiencing in my hood where girls exchange sex for sanitary pads. So where do we meet at the center? Because yes, we were talking about wellness, but we need to get to the in-depth because our young teens are becoming mothers and they have not fully developed.
I mean, thank you so much for that question concerning contraceptives and especially young ladies in the hoods. I mean, again, it goes back, charity begins at home. And according to Enlo, 2012, he talks about 7 spheres of influence, and family is one of them. So the conversation, I believe the conversation needs to begin at home, especially with the parents. It's how you parent a nation. Parenting is directly in line with mentorship. So contraceptives, what my thoughts are for this? It's a very delicate and sensitive issue because, first of all, why is contraceptive? Why are contraceptives there? Why is it a conversation in the first place? And I was talking to the team earlier on here, and I was asking them, are we well? Are we well? The nation, I believe, has been sick for a long time. And when you think about this COVID season, I like it because it's an equalizer and it's a chance for us to make something, redefine culture in the new normal. So as far as contraceptives is concerned, I'm not really an expert in that area. However,
let me take it back, Basi, to our experts, and I will take it back to Abby. Abby, you talked about sustainable development goals. And how do we know, like, do people know about SDGs? Do people actually talk about SDGs? And in terms of talking about health and education and gender equality, SDG 5, do you think we are getting to the grassroots? Are we getting that information right to the young people? Are they getting this information? And you being on the ground, how has it been for you?
Okay. Our target is schools in rural areas, partnering with community leaders, religious leaders in the rural areas of Kenya. And in as much as not everyone is aware of it, but at least when we bring out the aspect of education, it's kind of general because it brings in a lot of issues, which brings about equality. When they prioritize education, when they see education is of importance, it opens them up for opportunities. So creating equal opportunities for these young people, like, okay, this part of education, the whole thing about education has brought about the basis of everything, from even the sanitation part, from ending period shame that has led to some girls getting pregnant in their teenage years, ages because they do not have the sanitary towels. It's all under the umbrella of education. So we are thanking the community groups that are in the rural areas, and we're also encouraging other people to give priority to the rural areas because these are the parts that have been left out, and most girls do not have that knowledge, and most of the boys also who are in these rural areas do not have the information. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yes, Daisy. Mary Stops is it has a history. And you talked about having services for young people. And I also mentioned about, can they access these services? Are they able to access these services? So, in terms of you working with the government, how has it been for you? Making sure that you said you pitch tents or you go to different areas, you pitch and give out information and provide services for young people. So how has it been for you working with the government?
It is interesting because in some places you might think that the government doesn't really work with us, but we work in, as I mentioned, over 600 facilities across the country, and we are currently in 4 different counties in about 35 government hospitals, county and sub-county hospitals, in offering reproductive health services. So the government is addressing this issue where we have realized there is a gap. The adolescents, the youth are not getting these services. The adolescents and youth are also not getting information. So if as we work with as we work hand in hand, especially with the adolescents and youth through different forums, we have a community health work the volunteer network of over 2,000 people across the, and these who are attached to community-based organizations where now we can actually reach the youth. We have youth peer educators, and some of all these areas address the areas around youth. And because, and again, I'll bring this back to the context of COVID. Through our contact center, we will refer you to the nearest facility. And the nearest facility could be a government facility we are working with. It could be a private practitioner who has been trained. It could be a community health volunteer who we have the phone number and contacts of. So it's important that if you have something, you talk to us. And you must remember, again, it's the toll-free number. Toll-free means hautalipa hata shilingi moja. The number is 0800 72 0005. You call us, and then we will chat with you, and it is free of charge. And then we will refer you to a person if you want to see a person, yani kutana mtu macho kwa macho, unaweza enda pale kwa huyo mtu, the healthcare provider or the community health volunteer, who will give you further advice in terms of what you're seeking for. So working through the government means that we also are partnering at the county level. So at the county level, we work with the reproductive health coordinators, we work with the county directors of health across all the counties in Kenya, so that our mission and our feel is felt at the grassroots level. So that's how we work as Mary Stops Kenya. Back to you. Thank you. Hello. Did I hang?
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes, I'm on. I'm
also on.
Okay, let's see. Hello. So I think
my mic is on.
Yeah. So as we, I don't know whether the people are still hearing. I hope they are. I think there are some technical hitches. So As we are saying, the youth should the government actually works with us, and you must also remember the government also worked through the Reproductive Health Consortium, and we actually, there's a policy on ASRH, and it has given us guidance on which parameters to work within. So it's important that the youth and the adolescents reach out so that they can get this help that they require. Kama mnahitaji usaidizi, reach out. We will try to find you, but because we are so many youth, please reach out to us. We are there, available on social media. We are available through, I've told you, that contact center number, and any facilities that is indicated. We have a brand called Future Fab. We even have a page called Future Fab on Facebook and on Twitter, where you can follow us, and you will find other youth who will engage in this reproductive health questions and try to clarify. You're not alone as an adolescent. All of us who are adolescents, very many people are adolescents, and we'll move on like that. So I think that is where we are in terms of that. Marisops also, again, works by empowering the youth. We empower you to dream big. You evaluate and elevate yourselves to achieve your goals. So that is why we are there. We'll offer you the service that you require. As we wait for the host, is there anybody else who has questions? I'm checking the private chat ama comments kama kuna maswali yoyote ambayo naweza jibu, kwa sababu naona kuna youth pale wa Kangemi wa kila mahali. Kuna maswali, or any of the panelists, if they have anything to say.
Yeah, there was something that was raised by Kolo with regards to with our responsibility in ensuring that our young Kenyans are informed about their sexual reproductive health care. I think over the past few months, it's been a divisive issue, especially with the rise in teenage pregnancies. Of course, there are two aspects to this issue. One is an education perspective, and the other one is more of a moral societal issue. I cannot speak to I can only speak to the education perspective.
There's somebody who's asking a question.
Yeah, I think I've also had the same.
Yeah. Tunawasikiza. Kama kuna maswali, it's good kujibu our youth. Okay, Andy, you can continue probably as a setup here.
Okay, so the issue of teenage pregnancy. So one of the issues we found as we was touching off with Fomnigani, as I mentioned earlier, was that sexual reproductive health care has been relegated to a subject of a taboo, which can be seen as part of the reason why we are where we are with regards to the rise in teenage pregnancy. Now, as we were undertaking the survey to work on the Fomnigani Contraception and COVID report, we found out that young Kenyans are actually concerned about a rise in pregnancies at this time of the pandemic. And we explored a number of areas of reform that can be explored to take care of a number of these issues. One was, do we have clarity on the role of healthcare and contraception in terms of why do we need to allocate more funding to healthcare? Now, from a perspective of young Kenyans, over 93% of those who undertook our survey, it was clear among them that contraception is vital for the economic and social advancement of Kenya. So once we are clear of that as a country and we are able to allocate funds at the county level, at the national level, and have in place measures that ensure that we can track how these funds are used, we have a clear way forward. The second one was contraception as a conversation needs to be reframed, especially from a delivery perspective. We must look at it as I think over the past few days, there have been some outcry about some of the laws in regards to access to contraception, particularly by the president. And that still, sorry. Oh, is that a question?
Sorry about that, guys. Yes, we are back. Eh?
Oh, right.
So, yeah, we were talking about youth and contraception.
Contraceptions.
Yeah, so what is your take? Do you feel you have the free space to talk about it? And what questions might you have in terms of the challenges that you're facing as young people when it comes to reproductive health and rights?
Yeah, like I have one question.
Yeah.
So, how can we as the youth get out of the situation which is mentally affecting us?
Which situation? With regards to sexual reproductive health or with regards to mental health?
Mental health.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other question?
Maybe. Yeah.
Hi. Do you have any questions when it comes to sexual reproductive health, mambo ya contraceptives? Uko na swali yoyote? Na tukiangalia venye sahii ma youth man wanapitia challenges mob na ku-identify themselves, kujua body yao. Wewe umekuwa na challenge fulani yoyote ukiwa mtaani as a young person?
Not really, but kwa like yeah, tuangalie uko hiyo sector, so yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll throw that to Abby. Kindly give us remarks when it comes to mental health, because it seems it's the big challenge that young people are going through right now, even when making choices or trying to make conformed choices. So what would be your take?
Okay, for now, most young people are going through these issues with mental health because of COVID-19, having lost their jobs, having been out of school, having done a lot of things like COVID-19, they cannot be together, they cannot do anything. Okay, from a personal point of view, I would suggest that you get something to do. I'm saying most of the time, one gets to frustration, stress that gets to affect their mental health because they cannot be able to speak out, or because they are idle and they think about so many things, wanaanza kukumbuka mashida mingi, you start creating your own stress, you start, vitu mingi zinakusumbua. But at least when you have something to do, it kind of gets you busy. When you have friends whom you can be able to interact with, where they could discuss issues, it can be able to help you, because it's that kind of free part that you don't have a job, vitu mingi zinakuja, then they pile up. You can also talk to a friend. Yeah, that will help.
You're on mute. You're on mute, I think. Hello? Salma?
Yes.
Hear you. Oh, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Daisy,
Yes.
can you just mention to young people the types of contraceptives that we have and which ones would be best? Because as Andy said before, that young people we already know are engaging into sex. So what would be the best advice, knowing that young people are engaging in sex? What would be the best method for them to use contraceptions? And I'm not trying to say that they use it, because that would look really bad on me, but I'm saying, like, what would be their options? How would we advise them? But also for them to understand that they're contraceptives and they need to know the types that are there, so that at least they know how to use them.
Thank you so much for that question, Salma. And in terms of contraceptives, this is an individual's decision. It is an individual's decision. The moment you have realized you are engaging in sex and you're making an informed choice and you're not being forced, then that's when you will seek services. And that is how it's supposed to be. You have to make an informed decision. And so long as you are able to make this informed decision, then you can now actually come and approach any of the marriage stop centers or our branches, or even government facilities where family planning or contraception is offered. The first thing about when you come in, we are looking at, do you feel welcomed? Are you judged, or you're not judged? Is the information I'm giving confidential? Is the provider keeping this information in confidence? Am I safe to talk? Is this a welcoming space? Are the people who I'm talking to listening to me? Am I comfortable when I get in there? Do I know my choices? Am I respected? So am I in the right place? Do I feel cared for? Will they look after me if anything occurs? Now that is when now you know, okay, now I'm going to make a choice to pick this method. So it is not just about going to pick a contraceptive method. I just wanted to be clear. You really need to go through a complete, comprehensive counseling process so that you can make an informed choice of the method that you're going to pick. And it's not just making it out of nowhere. So of course, the methods that are available, and most people know, we have what we call a condom. A condom is number one. A condom will prevent you from HIV, will prevent you from STIs, will prevent you from everything. You get me? Now that is in terms of you are now choosing a contraceptive method. You will also remember that the ABC still works. Inaitwanga abstinence, be faithful, and then now you go to contraceptives and all that. So when you have gone all through this and you have said that this is the moment that I need to take a contraceptive and I need to take this, so what is it? So there's a condom preventing against HIV and STI. So it must be used. Weka condom mbangoni. Walikuwa nasema kila siku hivyo. So please, when we were young, ilikuwa inaitwa ukifreak bila socks. Something
Socks,
like
no diggity.
no diggity
Umetrip.
no diggity umetrip. Sisi ni wazee hivyo, my friend.
I'm telling you.
You start with the condom. Then after the condom, which is just it will give you the fast. Then now, probably if you're not going to use the condom consistently, what else do you have? We have short-term methods where we have pills. When you have pills, what are you using for pills? We have oral pills that you'll take every day for 20 days, and then rest for 7 days, and in that 7 days you have your periods. Condoms, pills, you have to be very diligent. It's like brushing your teeth. If you brush your teeth every day at 8 p.m., take your pill at 8 p.m. Not taking it because today chali yangu anakam, so nitameza pill leo nini. Hiyo ni whether chali anakuja ama asikuje, unaendelea na hiyo kwa sababu umechagua, unaendelea 21 days ukimeza, whether the chali is there or not. Haya, tunaangalia things like emergency pills. Emergency pills are the most abused pills. They are good. They are emergency. Sasa swali yenye naulizanga na hii pill yenye watu wanameza, P2, inaitwa P2, watu wengi sana wanaita P2 hapa. P2 na pill. Emergency yako ni kila weekend. Emergency yako ni kila siku.
So bad. I think you should educate us on that, because it is misused a lot.
Yes. When somebody said an emergency, it is actually emergency. Huwezi kuwa na emergency ama unapanga for emergency, umeibeba kwa pocket yako, kwa wallet yako, pangia emergency. Emergency haipangwangi hivyo. It's an accident. An emergency is an accident. So, thing that you need to remember. An emergency pill should be used maximum 3 times in 1 year. Hii time ya COVID yenye sisi tuko home wote, my friend. If kama emergency imeacha kuwa emergency, wewe unafaa kwenda kwa oral contraceptive ile ya kila siku ya 21 days. So make your choices and make them right. Emergency pill used for prolonged period really interferes with your hormones. You will have prolonged period effects in return of fertility, or you can get pregnant when you have taken them because of you have really mixed up your body in terms of hormones. And then you look at we have injections. We have one called the Depo. Depo is the most common, and that one is given every 3 months. So you can also have it for every 3 months. Side effects. Usually, some people have weight gain, others lose weight, others is no difference in it. You have, sometimes people have changes in their cycles. You'll bleed heavy, you bleed light, or no bleeding at all. That is normal. So long as you get proper counseling, you'll understand all this. We have those are injections for 3 months. Then we have implants for 5 years and for 3 years. Implants in under the arm, upper armpit upper. That part, that's where we put the implant. An implant in a gizo, it takes about 5 minutes, not so painful to insert, very fast to insert. It can last you 3 years or 5 years, and you can remove it at any given time that you want. So an implant is also a longer term method. You'll find that if you are, let's say, 20 years and you want to stay with your boyfriend for another 4 years before you have a child, you can use this implant. So it is something you can choose to use. And you can remove it at any time, and you return back to fertility very fast. Then we have coil. A coil is what we call an IUD. An IUD, you use it time and again. For an IUD to use it time and again means that when you use an IUD or it's inserted in the womb ama kwa mfuko ya uzazi. You will have your periods every month. It affects your weight. It doesn't affect anything. And probably one of the best methods that are there. The day you remove it is the day you get pregnant. So that's one good thing about the coil, and something that can be used very many times. That can be used. It can stay up to 10 years, but you can any time you want. After 1 month, after 2 months, after 6 years, after 4 years, it depends on you. Then we have now the permanent methods, which are for people who believe they've had enough children. So we have the BTL, bilateral tubal ligation, which is for women, and then we have the vasectomy for men. So these are the family planning methods that are available. And as I've reminded you again, in terms of you who are maybe having multiple partners, or you're not too sure about the status of HIV for your partner, it is good to use a condom, both male and female condoms, which are available. So despite the fact that you're using all these methods, please, a condom ndio kwanza. So tumia condom na implant, condom na coil, condom na pills, but usiachane nazo. Usiachane na CD ni lazima. Hakuna kufreak bila socks. Sawa. That's all the methods. And of course, I've told you again, call us on Maristops Kenya, toll-free number 0800 72 0005, and we'll be able to get back to you, or WhatsApp, which we have also put on display. So any questions, Salma?
Yes, there are questions from the youth in Kangemi, and then I will get back to you, Andy, later with another question. So back to Stephen in Kangemi. There's something. Hi, now we can hear you.
Tuko Kangemi na leo tulikuwa na few sessions. Tuulize story ya mask, tusha sanitize. Sanitize kwanza zile za gava tulipata. Na tuko mask because tuko mali safe. Already we've sanitized, we've checked ourselves. That's why we are able to talk. And niko na tu swali moja ama mbili hapa, alafu nitarudisha tu Salma, one of the greatest hosts that I know. Salma, big up. Na kutambua. Mimi nakutambua. Najua si wote ni dom dancehall ama majuu. So actually wale ndo wanakusikia.
My name is Baby.
What's your name?
My name is Aisha.
Aisha and Millicent. Ebu nitauliza tu na lugha mtaa, and you can bring the camera closer ndo watusikie, because najua hizi ni ziko. Do you know what a contraceptive? Contraceptive ni nini mama? Na wewe tu sauti watakusikia.
They are like infertile health. What I understand by that word, I mean contraceptive, ni zile vitu zenye mse yani anatumia kukinga magonjwa, mimba and so on. Unaweza pata dem akona ile condom ya dem anavaa ndio sipate mimba, ana use si must boy atumie.
So ni kinga, ni means ya kujiprotect msasi pate ball.
Sipate ugonjwa like STIs, ukimwi, so on. Kama ugonjwa zile zinatajwa na guru, gonorrhea.
So unajua gani na gani? Unasema condom?
Kwa hiyo kuna injections. Kuna
pills,
and
Maristops nimesikia wamezibonga tena. Tutalan more kutoka kuna are they available?
Yeah, they are.
Zinapatikana hata item ya COVID?
Yeah.
So sasa mimi nikitaka nitatoa wapi?
In Kangemi Hospital.
Kangemi Hospital.
And
chemist. Kubai,
yeah? And some few shops.
So lazima niende ni buy.
Yeah.
What if zile zina provide na gava, maybe for free or something, naweza survive?
For free. You can go city council. Yeah.
Hizi mausi za kanjo.
Yeah.
So ina maana ni kinga ni kinga ya ball. So kumaanisha unge msai kuna issue za maball sana.
For now, at most, some of the boys may marry before have sex. They know that they have to protect themselves.
Mumesikia issue ya teenage pregnancies?
Yeah, in Machakos.
Area kuna uko sawa?
Area, like, we are not sure. Because we have not done that a lot of survey. So we can't maximize the number. But optimistic, we can say that something is done. Yeah.
So my last question will be, what is your advice to youths on matters of teenage pregnancies? come too closer to watamsikia.
It's all about abstaining. You keeping yourself healthy, doing the right thing. Know that hata kama umeexposewa nje to many people, know that you have to protect yourself. If umefosiwa, use condom, use protection to protect yourself so that huwezi pata hizo vitu. And the most important ni ku abstain. Yeah.
And if you cannot abstain, use that condom. They are available in every hospital, city council, private. They are all available. Even in the shop, they are cheap. You can buy. Salama, you can buy like 100 shillings. The Sure, you can get like free. They are from free. Trust, you can buy 60. Yeah, they're free. If you have money, if you are able to do, if you cannot abstain, just buy so that you can abstain. And if you're pregnant, please, see my youth, don't do abortion. This is not the end of life. Yeah, this is not the end of life. Don't do abortion. Just stay.
Mimi kuna kitu powerful nimesikia leo kutoka kwa my youths. Wamesema tumia condom. Tumia contraceptives. Kingana na historia ball. Inawezekana. Kama uyuko ready, kama it's not your time, kama hujajiprepare, usikuwe na mbio. Tumia CD zinapatikana. Wanasema hata kama ni time ya COVID, enda pale OC, utadungwa. Na ni pia cheap, kuna zingine zinawezekana. Una get, eh? So Salma, mimi nimesikia tu message inaweza hapa tena sana. Na I think from the youth of Kangemi na shughuli bado sisi tunaendelea nazo. Tunasema stay safe. Alafu kama uwezi abstain, jisai damu ni moto. Wasi wako home pamoja. Wasi wako home. Ni challenge. That's why today we decided as youth to come to pamoja tubonge tujue way forward. So kama uko hapo home na wewe ni youth na damu ni moto, this might seem the hardest advice ever. Abstain. You cannot abstain. Use a CD. Use pill. Injections. Nasia, kuna so many other means. And if you need to learn, visit the pages of our visitors. Visit their pages. Straight Talk Kenya kuna app. Visit their pages. Go learn. Go understand what to do. And to parents, mnaambiaje maparo actually? You parents hawapendi topic ni ngumu. Parents, learn to talk to your teens. Mama?
That's true.
They have to
Talk to your teenagers. They want to
the truth.
tell them the reality of this life.
Mnasikia?
They are just
They have to see the truth.
Thank you so much, Steven. Thank you very much. We're almost wrapping up. So I have like 2 in-depth questions, and I'll start with Andy. I just want to know, are there existing laws on access to contraception in Kenya within the pandemic? And do you think young people know this information?
So primarily, the Constitution of Kenya guarantees all Kenyans the right to the best standards of healthcare, including sexual and reproductive healthcare. That's the platform on which I guess we are all having this convo, because it is a right that is not being met. During the pandemic, in a bid to manage healthcare in Kenya, the Ministry of Health set in place guidelines, which unfortunately are one of the main reasons why contraception access is limited in public facilities. So currently, again, unfortunately, the methods have been limited to condoms and pills, which if you compare to the methods that were discussed by Daisy, those two represent only about 22% of what Kenyans use. The IUDs and all the other methods say, they IUDs and all the ones that were mentioned by Daisy represent over 70% of what Kenyans use. So we currently have a problem with regards to access in terms of what the guidelines provide for right now, which is actually a major problem. Yeah.
And my other question would be, what do you think we should change? Knowing better that they are challenges that we are going through right now. So what would be your message to make sure that the guidelines and this rights, self-service access, Lord, I even lost my tongue there, that these services are access to young people, that we have better healthcare, because I believe right now would be the best time for our institution, our leaders, the key players to actually put their money into health and health services. So what would you say, Andy? And then I go back to Daisy, because I have some questions that were raised by the two young, powerful women who just talked to us.
Okay. What we discovered as Formally Gani in terms of what actions can be taken based on what young Kenyans feel. One, we need to first look at contraception as a holistic and essential services that must always be maintained. That's the first thing that we have to do, especially now. This comes from, like, we need to be clear on why do we invest in healthcare. Yeah. Again, as young Kenyans all seem to agree on, contraception is vital for our advancement going forward as a country. So we need to be clear on the role of healthcare and contraception. Then third, we need to have financing with clear and deliberate allocations to sustainable contraception efforts. Where does this money go to? What do we want to achieve? And how do we ensure that the person who is managing those funds is held accountable for it at the end of it all? So also young Kenyans need to speak up, be a part of the debates and the discussions around how contraception is financed. Then the fourth item that also has to be looked into is supply chain reforms. We have seen contraception drying up in some of the outlets that young Kenyans have been accessing them. We have also seen issues around young Kenyans being unable to make it to the places where they access the contraceptions. For example, if you look at university-going Kenyans, a number of them used to access them for free at the universities. Now they're not able to access them. How do you ensure that they're still able to get these methods of choice, regardless of wherever they are? So yeah, those are some of the four issues that we need to address going forward with regards to contraception. And now more than ever, we have a chance to course correct, because we are at a crossroads where it can either be worse or it can improve. But it's the same.
Thank you for that. That's really important, because once we make sure that our systems are in line, we are able to access the right services at the right time for every young person, because we are paying tax, for crying out loud. It has to do something in return.
Accountability.
Abby,
Yeah.
what are you doing to ensure that during this COVID pandemic, because we know there's a rise in teenage pregnancies, and we also have to talk about a bit of menstrual health, because once you miss that period, you're pregnant. And there's the issue of condoms are free, sanitary pads are not. So what would you want to change, and what is the situation at hand? What are you doing differently now to ensure that things are working out despite the challenge of COVID-19?
Okay. Number one, using like Bomet County as an example, right now what we have been able to do, we have partnered with Crew Kenya, and all the girls in all the children's home in the county have dignity packs, which are reusable, that can be able to last for more years. So reducing uh, the the chances of having more girls getting pregnant. But again, these other girls who've been left in rural areas and either in children's home, they come from poor families, they do not have access to uh, the dignity pack. So the teenage pregnancy cases zinaendelea kurise. What we have been able to do is we have been able to learn tailoring so that we have some of our members, since most of us are at home, we can be able to get uh, to make reusable sanitary towels that can last for girls, of course, with other resources that we need, like the towels, whatever, hizo vitu zote, we've been able to use them. And then number two, also, we also have the human resources. Having membership of our organization being students, there is need for them to channel information to other young people in the communities in rural Kenya. And I think that's where we have like laxity, because most of these people, they don't get to their communities to inform these other people about, for instance, this contraception topic we are talking about, teenage pregnancies, and other issues that would be important. So I'm calling upon all the young people, majorly the students, people who are in the communities, and have this information to be able to relay them to the people in the communities, so that it's going to reduce the number of cases of teenage pregnancy. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And it is really important that we set an example and we don't focus on things like BBI. We focus on health. Daisy, back to you. And marriage stops is a very sensitive topic for me when it comes, because I have traveled outside and I've seen abortion being legal. And it has been controversial, knowing well that we are in a country where religion is really in-depth and culture norms are really in-depth. So Daisy, when we are talking in terms of is Daisy with me, Daisy Adala? And when we're talking about contraceptives, there's the issue of abortion, which has been a mole for a very, very long time in Kenya. And we need to discuss it whether we like it or not, because we are losing our young people because they're not able to access services, because they say, nikienda pale hosi, ule doki ananiona mimi mtoto ananiongelesha vibaya. So nitakutana na arefu wangu atanionyesha kadawa fulani, kakutoa faster juu mzae akijua itakuwa ngori. So please, can we just address that point kidogo, or can we sensitize on that point? And you just tell me your remarks when it comes to abortion, because I feel like we need to understand its term. And we also need to understand why it is important when we're talking about abortion, it kills, it's murder, because we all have controversies when it comes to abortion. But I want to get it from you, because you are in a health sector where you're dealing with reproductive health, right? So how is it for you, and what can you just say when it comes to that culture norm, that taboo, that word abortion, because it's ukifrika bila socks no diggity umetrip, you know.
Umetrip. Umetrip. Now, and that's where it comes. First, when you look at the Constitution, and that's something that I need to make clear, Article 26(4), it is written clearly by not me, lawyers, hawa watu wenye wanajuanga kuandika hizo vitu za law, and it was done by all forums, religious and everybody, and it is written clearly, abortion is not permitted unless you have been unless you have been seen, and unless unless you go to a trained medical professional who will look and see what exactly. I'm using just the simplest term. Sitaki kutumia hizo za law. In the simplest terms is that unless the health of the mother is in danger, and you can know whether the health of the mother is in danger, it is a trained clinical practitioner is defined by the government. Trained health practitioner is a doctor, a nurse, a clinical officer. So in the opinion of a trained health professional or a health practitioner, that is number one. Then next, it is they that you risk. So it is only a trained clinician who will know whether your health is at risk, not any other person. And whatever, if the trained health practitioner realizes that your health is at risk, then is only when it will be allowed. That is our constitution, and it is very clear, and that's something that everyone has to remember, that it was there and people discussed about it for very many months. It was put there. So, what again? I've said that when you now come to this trained health professional, do you feel welcomed? Will they listen to your story? Are you judged? Are you confident about the information you're providing? Are they going to examine you well? Are they going to test to see that your health is at risk? Now, the thing is that when you're looking at it, you look at what is health, and is health all encompassing? And then when you look at another article in terms of our constitution, Article 43, it says every person has the right to the highest attainable standard of health, which includes right to healthcare services, including reproductive healthcare. Now, the thing about the Kenyan constitution is that it goes ahead to define reproductive healthcare. Now, most constitutions in the world that just stop at which includes the right to healthcare services, full stop. But the one in Kenya writes including reproductive healthcare. So what is reproductive healthcare? Reproductive healthcare, because when we start defining reproductive health, we start, when menarche starts. When does menarche start? When you start ovulating, you're going to have periods, and all that is called reproductive health. So this is where all this should come in. Now, in terms of abortion can is only permitted when we are offering now post-abortion care. What exactly is it? We have told you, use the condoms, use this, and then now you come and you're having complications of this pregnancy. Now, how are we going to help? We are going to assess you and then give you medication to see that you're well. However, offer counseling, but this is usually one-on-one. We don't really offer that on our contact center. They will give you a direction to where you go, and then you have to go and be seen by a trained professional who will give you the counseling, and you will be given all the options that are available regarding your health. There are those who will opt. They're the ones who will opt for adoption. They're the ones who have complications of the same pregnancy, and some coming eating heavily and all that. So we will provide the services as per what you come in with. So again and again, I'll say Marisop Kenya will offer the preventive side. That means, do you have the information? Are you going to pick up abstinence? Are you going to use condoms? Are you going to use contraceptives? And if these contraceptives don't work, next, where will I go? Will we offer solutions? Solutions in terms of, are we going to talk to your parents? Are we going to talk to the person, your guardian who you've come with? Do you need other help? Are we going to link you with other youth who have gone through the situation that you have gone through? So that you reach out to professionals. The thing about abortion is that it is so makosa. It's already such a huge sin, and every time it is looked at as a complete sin, you find that people engage in this sin. Now, all stakeholders have to come in. The religious people need to say, okay, what is it that we need to do? How are we going to keep our youth engaged so that they can abstain from sex? Now, the ones who will hear the religion, how well are we going to engage them so that they can use contraceptives? And when they get pregnant, what kind of support are we going to give them moving forward? Are we going to castigate them and tell them that we cannot come back to school if you are a or you're not going to step in my house, or you have to get married? Are we giving them forums to open up? Some of these cases as a result of rape. You are raped and raping you in your house. They are the people will bring you this abortion drugs. You take them, then it becomes a complicated incomplete abortion where you can bleed to death. We are in the COVID. It's so difficult to get to hospital at night. There is no transportation. So what exactly are we looking at it? It should stop being looked at as a vice. And when we stop looking at this as a vice, then we will have the solution. But it has to have a multi-pronged approach and not stakeholders fighting about everybody's fighting over this person. And chini ni nyasi umia, wanasema fahali wawili wakipigana nyasi ndio
inaumia.
When the government does not provide contraceptives, it means the nyasi inaumia. It's not the government that is going to get pregnant. It is this girl who will carry a pregnancy and will now have to look for a job as a girl or a house help somewhere because she needs to fend for this child. She will stop going to school. It is this family that will remain with poverty because this girl who was actually finishing Form 4 and A and go to university has her life cut short. It is encompassing, and it does not mean that they are not teenagers who have actually excelled well. They are, but that the lucky few. It is about 5% of these youth who actually get pregnant. Majority of them go into depression, and they go into poverty, and this cycle is going round and round. Because now look at COVID. You're living in a one-roomed house. Your daughter is 14 years old. There are people, your cousins are living. Within a short time, she's pregnant. What do? You will not take her, you will not realize until she's 9 months pregnant. When she goes to give birth, we destroy her reproductive health system. She starts leaking urine on all her life. These are things that need to be approached and should need to be approached with sober minds and not necessarily what we have. And that's why for Maristop's Kenya, we have these avenues that we have availed. We have contact us. We have community health volunteers on the ground. We work with CBO, we work with the county government so that the adolescents and the youth can reach out to us so that we can provide solutions when no one is there to give people solutions. That's my response in terms of abortion.
That is really deep, and I'm grateful for you and the work that you're doing in Maristops. And young people need to access this information. And I believe, guys, you should like the pages of Abby, Daisy representing Maristops, Abby representing Ladies Heart Foundation. Sylvia could not join us, but she was to join us. Andy, form Nigani, Andy, you know, form Nigani. But at the end of the day, we just need to wrap up because we have a lot to share on when it comes to contraceptives. And I believe like reproductive health and rights is a topic that is not addressed. And young people need to understand that it is important for us to know our body. Body autonomy is really important. Knowing yourself, being able to say yes and no, being able to say that if someone touches you wrongly or does something, you need to speak up because people don't speak up. And that's why we are having issues to do with teenage pregnancy, HIV and AIDS on the rise. And it's affecting the teens who are the future generation. And if we don't mentor them now, when are we going to mentor them? So back to you guys. Just last short comments za kumalizia, we wrap up this thing. And I believe Straight Talk is the place to be. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. The hashtag is Tubonge Thursday. Thank you for all the guys who've been watching. So back to you, Andy. Back to you, Nani. Daisy, please tell us your few last remarks and then we wrap it up. We call it a day. Au niaje?
Yeah, Daisy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the forum that you've given me, and of course for listening to what we have in terms of youth and adolescents. Maristops Kenya is grateful for this forum, and we will partner continuously. And as I keep on saying, we have as Maristops Kenya, we have a youth brand which is Future Fab. And it focuses on confidence, choice, and collaboration. with the youth themselves and the adolescents. We empower youth to dream big and protect the future. They also need to elevate and achieve their goals, and that's something that we are working on continuously. We give a lot of sexual reproductive information so that youth can be confident and make the right choices and be part of a solution in relation to their future and collaboration with the community and the health providers. As again, I will repeat, we have various platforms. We have the contact center, we have Twitter, we have WhatsApp, we have our toll-free means we are calling for free. So please engage with us. We'll be able to respond to you. And I hope we will get another opportunity as Marisops Kenya to join you on this live conversation. Thanks.
Of course, yes. Of course, awesome. Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes. To protect.
Yes, to protect. Andy. Form again.
Yes, form ni Wakenya kujua kwamba they have a right to accessing information on contraception as well as methods. This is guaranteed by the laws of Kenya. Young Kenyans also need to understand the role of contraception in moving our country forward. It helps young girls stay in school. It helps young Kenyans pursue their dreams. It helps avoid a high number of maternal deaths. Young Kenyans should also take advantage of platforms that allow them to speak up. Form Nigani Kenya is one of them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Then young Kenyans should also take opportunity of the public participation platforms available in their counties, in their wards, to push for access to contraception, whether it's through funding. Then, I guess that's it. So feel free to join any movement that moves your cause forward, and together we can get the agenda at the top levels.
Thank you so much for having this space to just talk to us. We believe this is a safe space where you can open your heart and tell it like it is. Remember, A, abstinence, B, faithful, C, contraceptive, yes, and D, do you know your status? So it has been my pleasure hosting you guys. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to the youth in Kangemi. Thank you to Straight Talk, Marisops, Pomnigani, and all the guys who've been with us. Faith Fowl, thank you. Steven Zusa, thank you to Kenny Kaburu, thank you to Abby Chebet, thank you to Sylvia Bulali, thank you to everyone who has taken part in making sure that young people are well informed. Remember to like our pages, remember to share, and if you missed out on this project and on this program, remember we're on Facebook. You can just go to Straight Talk Live and you will find the information and what we talked about. See you on Thursday. From me and Straight Talk, it's been real. Okay, trip bila socks. No digidi
trip.
Yeah.
Hi everybody. Hi guys, my name is Jenny Machule, Taragas High School.
My name is Rafael Juma from Tata County Student School.
My name is Maureen Shitawa. I'm from Shenas Girls High School located in Nakuru County.
Mini Matu, Martin Maina, Kahai.
Hey guys, I'm Belinda Sifuna, Machule Girls School from 4. I'm in Form 3 and you're watching Straight Talk TV.
Watching Straight Talk TV.
I'm in Form 4, the school is in Machakos County, and you're watching Straight Talk TV. Keep watching.